I'm Shirley S. Your K25 CS 1081. Now let's see practicum number 5, which has the title Activity Modeling. So before that, I want to compare it with the previous practicums, what I have done. So in practicum 4, we I have developed the sequence diagram, and it focused on the interaction between different objects and participants in a sequence. So basically it explains how the interaction takes place and in what order, like in what chronological order it followed, we have seen in sequence diagram. But whereas in practicum number 5, I have developed the activity diagram, and it focuses the workflow and the flow of control. So in any application, and here in my application, I've used the student management system. So it represents the activities, the decisions, the transitions, and different paths which will be followed during the execution of the system. So that is the comparison between the before practicum and this current practicum. Therefore, the use case diagram, it explains what the system does, which we have seen in practicum number 2, and in practicum number 3 we have seen the other diagrams as well. So in practicum number 4, we have seen the sequence diagram. Sequence diagram, it explains how objects interact over time, and in this current fifth practicum, we are going to be seeing how activity diagram, it explains the overall process flows from one activity to another. So now let's see how activity diagram takes place and how we can apply it in our application, which is the student management system. So, an activity diagram is basically a behavioral UML diagram which represents the flow of activities and control. So, similar to a flow chart, but it also can represent decision points, parallel activities, merging and joining of activities as such. So, we'll be seeing in our application student management system how the system works from login to the completion of different student related operations. So, the basic concept is that, as you can see here, in this graphical notation, an activity, it represents an action performed by the system or user, and it is represented using a round red rectangle. And the initial mode, it represents the starting point of the process, and it is shown as a filled circle. And the final node, it represents the end of the process, and the activities are connected using arrows, as you can see here, which represents the flow. And decision nodes are used when the system has to choose between different paths based on a condition. So based on the decision being true or false, it will go according to that path. For example, the login being either valid or invalid. So if the login is valid, means it will go it will go to the next home page. But if it is invalid, means it will ask the user to retry the password again and again. So that is what this is decision nodes help to go to like various paths based on the decision being valid or not. So this is how merge, fork, and join are used in activity diagram. And this is an example of a activity diagram for issuing books. So basically decisions are there. If it is available, means it will be going to the activity like fill up form. So it is not available, it will be going to the end node. So basically this is a simple representation of how our activity diagram works. And these are the resources required: a computer system, and star UML is what we have used here. So basically these are the things required, and this is the actual resources used. So we have used these things for implementing the student management system. So the procedure followed is that first we will be identifying what are the main activities that can be involved in a student management system. So various users are identified like administrator, faculty, and student. And we have started the activity diagram with the login activity, so which is the initial node. And after that, when the user enters the username and password, the system validates the login details. At this point, a decision node is there. So if the as I mentioned earlier, if the login details are invalid, the system does not allow access, and the user has to try logging in again. If the login is successful, the user enters the student management system. After the login, the system performs different operations based on the user's role. So this is what it happens. So after that, we'll be managing student details, attendance, marks, courses, viewing information, and so on. So all of these are connected using arrows, and we have added decision and merge nodes, and we've added a final node for indicating the completion of the process. So this is what happens, and after that, the observations is that The system it first authenticated, and then different activities are performed based on the user role and requirements. At last, decision nodes are used to represent whether the conditions is getting satisfied or not, to have a successful login or unsuccessful login based on the validation of the decision node. Now let's see the result of. So basically, this is the human activity diagram for student management system. So without swim lane and with swim lane is there. So what is swim lane is nothing but swim lane. It clearly separate the responsibilities of different participants. So swim lanes make the diagram easier to understand because we can clearly, as you can see here with swim lane diagram. So basically, it represents who is responsible for performing each activity. So here student is there, student they are starting, everything is there, but without swim lane it is not there. As you can see here, without so with swim lane explains who is responsible for what, but whereas for without swim lane we are not explicitly mentioning like who is responsible as such. So this is the difference between swim lane and non-swim lane structure. So the interpretation of results is that decision nodes is main key here because it represents the conditions being valid or not, and the diagram it provides a clear understanding of how the workflow occurs and the interaction between the user and the system. So for the conclusion part is that basically the diagram clearly represents the activities, decisions, the transitions, flow of operations, everything, and provides a simple visual representation of how the system works from login to completion of the required operation. So the diagram also clearly shows the different responsibilities of the administrator, faculty, and student. The interpretation of results we have seen just now, which is the login activity and the decisionals, are the key features of it. And the conclusion part is that student management system, when we have used UML activity diagram, it provided a clear and simple representation of the complete workflow. So it helped me to understand how decision making points plays an important role in how transitions and in what sequence operations occurs, everything is done. So this is basically how an activity diagram works for an application such as student management system. That's it. I'm surely yes, you are K25CS 1081. Thank you.